On today's episode, the First Three Knocks team reconnects.
You're listening to the First Three Knocks, a Masonic podcast in the District of York, where we discuss topics for the betterment of Masonry. The opinions discussed in this podcast are those of the individual and do not represent the views of Grand Lodge or any other Masonic body. Now, here are your hosts.
Good morning, brethren. Coming to you from the Aurora Temple in Aurora, Ontario, Canada. I am Worshipful Brother Bert Tellier, your co-host, past master of the Rising Sun Lodge here in Ontario. Sitting with...
And I'm back.
He's
co-host, back. Brother Gino Scovio. I'm happy to be back, guys.
Yeah, we missed you. Yeah. We missed you. You've been busy. And our...
Brother Master Mason, Stephen Space.
He's the Master Mason.
He's been
now.
busy. He's been busy.
busy.
Yeah. Our illustrious producer is now a Master Mason, and we'll get into that a little bit. So, guys, it's been a while. We've had a lot going on here as we move into February 2020. Hard to believe.
Yeah, the first month is already blown by.
Oh, it blew by. And the three of us have been extremely busy on our private avocations. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot to catch up on, I would say, since we've been away for a while. And we've got a lot coming down the pipe. Really exciting sort of lineup of topics and guests coming down the pipe well.
Can't wait.
So I guess to kick things off a little bit, what the heck have you guys been up to for the last little while? Gino.
Well, I mean, number one, I felt like I was sick for like the last 2 months. Right around Christmas time, some kind of bug virus hit me, and it was just put me on my ass. But we got through it. And in addition to that, as a realtor in the business, our spring market starts as early as January, believe it or not. And it's a pretty crazy time right now. So trying to just get through not feeling 100%. And having a lot of business come down the pipes that we knew was coming in the new year, it's just been go.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling 98%
you're
good
almost
now.
there.
I'm feeling good. I got my voice back. I got my color back. I got my appetite back. Work's been, again, kicking my butt, but it comes with the territory.
Nothing to complain about, though.
Nothing to complain. I like staying busy. I mean, it's when I got nothing going on, which is rare, that I really just bang my head against the wall and says, what do I do now? Yeah. But again, I've been missing you guys a lot.
Yeah,
we missed you too.
It's like we talk about it in other episodes of just putting your suit on and going to lodge. We certainly don't dress up to get together to chat, but it's just again, it brings joy to me, and it's just nice to get here and
I feel like
chat with
we've
you
been.
guys.
It's only been a couple of weeks really since we've released an episode, but just in our personal lives being so busy. I mean, how many times do I message you guys a day? Probably 6 to
man. Well,
60, 70 times a day.
And
like
for
that.
the past couple of weeks, we really haven't had much communication at all. Just because
I haven't
of our
been able to
personal
keep
lives,
up with all your dings again, going back and forth. I was like, all right, I'll figure it out when I sit down with you guys on Sunday. But we've been busy. We've been getting things going. Again, Steve, you've been lining up some amazing guests that we're about to inform everybody what's coming down the pipes. We even got posters now going out. Bert, you've been busy.
Newsletter, yeah.
You've been traveling the States.
Well, yeah, lots going on there. But before I jump into that, I kind of want to press you a little bit, because it's been a new chapter and adventure for you now. You're now sitting in the junior warden's chair at the Rising Sun Lodge.
Things are serious. Like I said last time after installation, I think once you get into that role, it's serious. I mean, not that it's not for all the other positions, but like it's real, third guy in charge is so to speak, preparing meals to have and enjoy. The first one I felt I didn't give you guys my best because I wasn't feeling well, so I did a quick Italian pasta dish for you. But the last time, I believe, made up for
this
it.
past week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
Awesome.
What was a lamb chop?
Yeah, we did lamb shanks. I started them at 9:30 in the morning and pulled them out of the oven around 4:30. And again, I love food. I love to eat. I love to cook for lots of people. I've always told my wife one day I want to open up a restaurant, so I've been testing the waters with my little side catering gig, serving my brethren here. Yeah.
Maybe,
and I think it went off pretty good.
Maybe I do need to start affiliation.
You should.
The affiliation process.
You know how Uxbridge always claims best meal in York district?
They claim that.
I'm going to challenge that.
We got a challenge.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
Maybe a better regular meeting, but our installations and official visits, you can't beat that.
Their roast beef that they have.
It sounds like
and
he's
their
challenging
salmon.
you,
Well,
Gino.
I'll take that challenge, but it is hard to beat. It's delicious. Their catering crew that they get there is amazing. But we got some stuff up our sleeve this year.
Yeah.
We got a new facility across the park here that does some fine dining, and I'm going
Yeah.
to see when it comes to our bigger events. If we set it up and do it right, we'll have a beautiful place right across the park to go and enjoy a nice fancy meal, and then we'll walk over and get to business and
beautiful historic Aurora.
beautiful. I was gonna
That's
try to
already
do
taken.
that.
Dueling mares here now. Huh?
Challenge to
Challenge
Uxbridge.
accepted. That's
Well,
great.
they're the armpit of Durham, though, so they can have
Whoa,
that, right?
whoa,
It's getting personal now. Wow. Well, we'll have to talk to Don Kemble and Chris Wilson on that. I'm sure they'd appreciate
I
it.
think I just lost my Zaradetha hug there, right?
They might not be hugging you next
I'm
time.
gonna get
right?
high-fived if I'm lucky.
So Gino, how is Junior Warden? I mean, you guys did a double degree this past
Yeah,
week.
we did. We got that was the first degree team of the year. Worshipful brother Mark Oagley decided he's not going to throw us to the Lions in January and kind of give us a chance to really prep and get ready. It was for me personally, it was really cool to do that part in our ritual, sitting as the junior warden. I've gone through it personally on the 3 degrees that I've taken. I went through it as the deacon doing the work, bringing the brother through in the EA. What was funny was in that ritual part, when the deacon kind of helps the candidate out, I remembered that role so distinct because I just finished it and I kind of wanted to jump in and do that part for him. I was like, oh,
It's not my role.
You're in a different role. I'll wait, hang out. But it was a lot of fun. I think we did a pretty tremendous job, in my opinion. Again, we had a lot of new guys sitting in new positions, so it was all brand new for everybody. And like I always say, learning in the sports world, especially in the cheer world, when the spotlight's on, we shine. And in rising sun fashion, we certainly, I think, delivered, a great degree to the candidates. Both candidates were well prepared and excellent. And again, it was very nice to kind of help and mentor them as well.
Yeah.
Get them ready because
That must feel pretty good too,
it was,
because you've put a lot of effort into mentoring the
It's
teams.
rewarding. It was nice just to have the exchange afterwards. The text has sent them a quick little personal note, say, hey guys, well done. You guys are doing good. Now on to the next work. And then they give you a little bit of praise saying, well, we wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you. And I'm like, no, I won't take that credit. You guys put in the work. I just helped guide you along the way.
took
And
the
that's
steps.
the whole thing,
Yeah.
right? But it was a lot of fun. Sitting as junior warden, it's a different perspective. I kind of have one step up, right? Get a little bit of a different view. Although that DFC there, I can't see past him. I'm a shorter guy. He's like
Right Worshipful Brother Scott Rickman sitting at the director of ceremonies, and he's a big guy. And when he's standing, Brother Scovio can't be seen.
I'm about 3 inches
from the
shorter.
east.
So they're like, is Brother Junior Warden even there? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were looking around him the whole time, and Brother Junior Warden.
So we got to maybe move his chair 8 inches to the right,
About
just
4
so we got a
feet.
good view. Or I need a really big, phone book. Do they even make phone books anymore?
That chair could use a little boost, maybe. Yeah. Well, it's great to see you in that role. You do fantastic work, and you've done a brilliant job mentoring the guys as well. So this past Thursday was really special for me personally, sitting as the past master, just enjoying the evening.
Yeah.
Watching you guys do your work. You guys are dialed in.
Well, you did a brand new piece too. That final charge.
The
How was
charges,
that?
yeah, it was
again brilliant.
Well, I've been on the road for several weeks in January. I was really gone all of January, and I was in Houston, I was in Nashville, I was in San Diego, in Southern California, working through the weekends, and I perfected my charge while I was driving.
Good time
in
in
the car,
those car rides
a lot
and
of
hotels
flights
and hanging out.
a lot of me time, but I spent a lot of time working on that one. So it was really a fun charge, and like Masonry, of course, right? It's all designed at the right time, and that charge, particularly for me personally, had an impact, like all of Masonry does. But when you spend a lot of time working on something, it comes back sharp in your mind, and that was as expected. No big surprise. I got another aha moment coming from that
Awesome.
charge as well. So that was really a lot of fun to deliver. But on to new territory, I guess. Huh? The Rising Sun.
absolutely. Now you went again to the States. You said you were going to try to get out to different lodges. Were you able to connect with anybody out there?
No,
I know. Again, you're always on the go, real busy. It was tough to even think about those things, but
Well, I did reach out to a couple lodges in Texas and California. The challenge I had was their lodge nights. Didn't line up perfectly for my trip. So, I had really ambitious Masonic goal to get down there and do some visiting, and I didn't get it done. I brought my apron and my paraphernalia so I could do so, and I really just dragged it around the country for a few weeks. Is what I was doing.
Something tells me that you'll be out that way again for work, and you'll find those opportunities now that you know the nights that they're meeting, and I'm sure that you're gonna go and pay a visit.
Of course,
that's always the thing. I mean, I travel a lot for work too, and every time I go somewhere, I always look up what the lodge nights are in that area, and it just never works out. But hopefully, you stumble on that one time that does once in a while, or if you can plan a trip around being able to get to a lodge meeting and all that. But
here's one thing I learned again in some of my travels is I don't certainly plan my family vacations around where I can go and visit masonry lodges and such, but even when the meetings aren't there, and if you've made a connection, just going to see the building, seeing kind of the character of, because they're all very different, especially in the States. Like every state, every little area, very distinct differences, very distinct characteristic differences of the building, and what some are very, very old, like ours here, and some are kind of newer in the last like 80 years or 50 years and such.
New, yeah.
But even if you weren't able to attend a meeting, just to get in touch with them, go out maybe for a drink with a fellow brother, because they're always happy to oblige, and just get a tour of the place, right? And that alone is like just a special one-on-one that you get to do. So. But that's awesome. Look forward to when you are able to connect and get there and see some pictures.
It'll happen. And lots of traveling coming up as well. So, Brother Sprott, you have had a lot going on as well. You've been traveling, and a little something happened in the month of January.
It did.
Update us.
Yeah, on January 21st, I was raised to the sublime degree of a Master Mason.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Really great experience. Honestly, it was very humbling. I think it was the more impactful degree out of the three. You start with your first, and it's all new to you, and you're excited, and you don't know what to expect. So that's really exciting going to your first degree. Second degree was really great for me. It was an official visit, and I knew a lot of the guys from traveling, so it was nice to have everyone there. It was a huge crowd. I have an awful memory.
I don't believe that.
And I find that hard to believe.
I don't believe that.
And to sit down and study and be able to pull off my my work flawlessly for my second degree was a big accomplishment for me. I was really proud of myself. Awesome. And I understood what was going on a little bit more, because I understood the language kind of that we speak, and the flow of the work. And so that was a really great degree too. And then you get to your third degree, and it's just so impactful, the message behind it, but also everyone that showed up for that degree. I've been out traveling a lot. I do the podcasts. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of guests on the show that I've become great friends with. So, to have that support and have all those travelers come in and support me, looking around the room, these are all my friends that are doing the work. So it's so much more impactful. Everyone that was delivering a piece of work to me, I was actually friends with. And that's really impactful to have, that support. Because your first degree, you don't know anyone. It's just very exciting. Second degree, you're getting to know people. You might have a couple mentors that help you out, and you meet some people. But third degree, like, you've really established those friendships and those bonds. And for them to be delivering such heavy, beautiful work is just so impactful. And the nature of the work itself, right? So it was very impactful for me, and so exciting, and a lot of reflection. Obviously, in that degree.
Yeah, it's a big one.
That is typically what happens, of course, by design, is you're now on a full reflection as you've gone through the 3 degrees. And, you just raised a point that I think is really relevant for new Masons, which is you in the district are very well known because of your work on the podcast, because of your work in your lodge. You go to attend a lot of lodges, and you know a lot of people for somebody who's relatively new in the craft. But that effort that you put in comes back to you tenfold.
Of course.
And I think that's what you experienced. And that's sort of a maybe a challenge to Masons out there, new Masons, is to put yourself out there. and to do the work and show up, even when you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do is show up and participate, because like you just explained, the experience you get back from it is tremendous. Having your friends deliver work to you, there's nothing cooler in the world, man.
It's so meaningful too when you travel around and you meet people and they take the time to travel. I mean, Uxbridge isn't a close lodge for a lot of people. You know, it's kind of out in the country. It's a country lodge, and to have people travel from, you know, close to the city, places like Maple or wherever, to travel out and give you that time. You know, they're dedicating that time to you, and it's really exciting. You know, it's great.
Well, we're going to ask Worshipful Brother Chris Wilson to do another degree, maybe do confer the third again so that we can be there.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe, you know, and I missed this one, but when you guys sat with Worshipful Brother Don Kemble and Worshipful Brother Satpal Shiger, I like the idea of the virtual lodge.
Yeah,
For brethren
yeah.
that can't make it for, you know, ailment or whatnot. So maybe we should kind of fast forward a little bit in the future. And
Well, they do virtual
do those
lodges
kind
in the
of things,
States.
right?
I know one of the other podcasts, whether it was, I think maybe the Winding Stairs or something like that, did a podcast on virtual lodges. Maybe it was Masonic Roundtable, but they do exist. So
Yeah.
it's
They'll have
maybe
to do the
something possible.
hologram lodge.
Yeah.
That'd be.
But I mean, about probably, I'd say 45% of the people who attended my third degree that night were visitors, which
That's
you know,
awesome.
you look back and again, I'm just awestruck by it. And then also the phone calls that came in all day.
Yep.
You know, very worshipful brother Michael Redmond gave me a call, and you know, he said, "Oh, sorry, I can't make it tonight. You know, I was really looking forward to making it and all that." You know, I never expected a phone call from him.
Yeah.
You know, Bert gave me a call. There's a bunch of people from other lodges that either sent me text messages or called, and you know, so it just goes to show you the great fraternity. Everybody's always thinking about you,
Yeah.
and it's very humbling. You know.
yeah.
So, have they got to you yet? Are you now sitting in a chair? Are you actually
Senior
junior warden?
No, he's got senior warden. He's taking master
Senior warden.
next year.
Next year, going to master.
I was hoping they would see the amount of work that I'm doing outside of the lodge, and they wouldn't ask me to, wouldn't pressure me to do too much inside the lodge. But no, they haven't asked me to do anything yet. You know, we just had our installation, and some really great people were put into, you know, the chairs. And I'd say our lodge is very healthy in that respect, where we have a lot of young guys coming in.
Great.
And they're all passionate. They're all very involved with the lodge, and you know, so we have a really good lineup. And I'm sure next installation or in a couple weeks or so, they'll ask me to you know, hop in and do some work. I've been reading my new little black book, you know, and just kind of memorizing the parts that I like. Not that I'm being asked to do them or anything, but I enjoy the work. And, you know, so I've been sitting down and kind of reading that and trying to memorize some parts that I enjoy. So, I mean,
Excellent.
We'll see. I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
As it always is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the other part I wanted to kind of ask you about is you were traveling for work as well. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So immediately after my third degree, a couple days later, I flew out to Vegas for work, and I was sitting just at a lounge at one of the hotels, and I was with a couple people from work, and I was getting up to leave, and in walks a gentleman wearing a scarf, and on the scarf was the square and compass. And this is my first encounter with someone outside of the district or outside of Masonry. Really, you know, I'm not going to a lodge meeting, or, you know, I'm just seeing somebody in public. And you know, I kind of frantically thought, like, oh, how do I approach this guy?
What do I do?
Like, you know, how do I ask a question? And, you know, how do I find out if
Did you
he's
ask
really
him about his
Mason?
grandmother?
Well, I was going through my head, and I was, you know, am I asking him, you know, how old his grandmother is? And, like, you know, so no, but I was getting up to leave, so I just walked up to him, and he was walking up to a big group of a table, big group of people, probably 7 or 8 guys. And I just walked up to him, and I said, "Hey, brother, where are you traveling from?" And he immediately, you know, clued in. And he said, I believe he said he was from Masonic Pride Lodge, whatever number, in Ohio, I believe it was. Can't really remember, you know, all the thoughts rushing through my head. And, you know, when you introduce yourself to someone and they say their name and you immediately forget it. You know? But yeah, so I told him where I was from, and then he said, "Oh, these are travelers as well." And he points to the whole table of guys, 7 or 8 guys. So I went around the table shaking everyone's hand.
what a
Hey,
great
how you doing?
experience.
And, I wish he had come earlier, so we could have chatted. But unfortunately, I was on my way out.
Did you start throwing out the podcast cards?
No, I should have though. I should have. But yeah, I mean, it was a really cool experience. Immediately after getting my 3rd degree, to meet someone out in public and kind of sharing that moment. Not that we chatted for very long, but it was just more, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Enjoy your time here. But really cool experience, and I hope I have a lot more of those.
Awesome.
I had a similar experience like that just yesterday. In fact, I took my daughter for lunch here in wonderful, historic Aurora. We went to the Mercury Diner. And again, right across from where we were sitting, I noticed an older man sitting there with a nice royal blue ring and the square and compass on it. And I said to my daughter, and she hates when I say stuff like this, I think he's a Mason. And she knows where that's segueing to, right?
Yeah.
You're going to go talk to him, right, Dad? I'm like, yep, we're going to be here forever, aren't we, Dad? I'm
There
like,
are
no,
now.
5 minutes. 5 minutes to an Italian is like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
So sure enough, on our way out, we did. I stopped and said hello and introduced myself. And talk about a small world. He's a member of the Rising Sun who I've never met. And I believe he was talking about one of the last things he has done here in our lodge was receiving his 25-year pin. And his name was Brother Blake Williams, initiated in 1970. So
Wow.
when I discovered all that stuff, I thought, wait a minute, if my math is all right, and I
Yeah.
think it's pretty decent, that makes him 50 years a Mason this April.
Wow.
So it's just nice, again, when you recognize those kind of symbols, reach out.
So when was the last time he was at Lodge? What did you say?
He said the last time he recalls being at Lodge was receiving his 25-year pin.
Oh, that was the last time.
Yeah, when...
So he hasn't been in 25 years.
No, he hasn't for a while, because I was naming a few fellas, and you guys will totally get this in a second. I was like, do you know Right Worshipful Brother Scott Rickman? No, I can't say I do. Even like very well-known Bob Butler, Right Worshipful Brother Bob Butler. No, it doesn't ring a bell.
was
Bruce
pre-
Bellows. Oh, I know Bruce.
I know Bruce.
Yeah, everybody knows Bruce, right?
Bruce
so
is
very worshipful brother
127
Bruce
years
Bellows.
old, so-
Oh, that's exactly
Yeah.
it, right? So yeah, it was nice. We shared a couple of stories. His wife was there. He asked my daughter if she wanted to join Eastern Star, and she was like,
Nope.
"Yeah, no, I'm not interested right now." But again, for her, she's only 16. She
Yeah,
got lots
yeah.
of time to figure it out. But again, it was real nice, and he was very pleased that I took the time to stop and say hi. And I told him, hey, it doesn't matter that you haven't been for a while. If you'd love to,
Come on back.
you're a brother, and not only are you a brother, you're a brother in our own lodge. I'd be happy to pick you up and bring you. And he turned to his wife and said, and that's why I still love Masonry.
Yeah.
See, honey? We shared stories. He told me about his uncle taking him to get the 32nd degree. And he said that we were on our way up to Barrie to get the 32nd degree, and it was our first drive up, and my uncle yells at me, "Stop the car, pull over." What's the problem? Pull over. So he made me pull over on the side of the 400, and at the time back then, I'm sure it was crazier than it is now. It's a
Yeah.
pretty intense highway. Lots of accidents and things happen on there. Anyways, long story short, the guy stopped the car to confess that the only reason he wanted him to come up to be a 32nd is because he kept needing a ride up to Barrie. And I said, well, that's the Masonic way, right? You got to tell the truth all the time.
Yeah.
It's part of it. And
Yeah.
he goes, yep, no, that's exactly it. But I'm glad he brought me out, and I had no problem taking him up there because I thoroughly enjoyed that whole, Scottish right
yeah.
side. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, real nice to see, a fellow brother out in the public. And I was
And of your lodge.
Yeah,
That's
and of my
incredible.
lodge. Like,
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
the small world that it was.
And between, I don't know how many guys you get out to your meetings, but between, let's say, 20 guys, one of them's bound to, offer their assistance to go pick
yeah.
them up or drop them off, and you can alternate. I mean, Brother Eugene from our lodge, he can't drive. He's older.
Yeah.
He's in his late 90s, and he lives in Port Perry, which is, 20, 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
So and everybody's happy to pick them up, drop them off at the end of the lodge. It is 25 minutes there, 25 minutes back for the person living in Uxbridge.
Totally worth the time, though,
To
right?
have him there
Yeah.
and have him be present, and he still does a lot of the work.
Yeah.
I shared with Brother Williams that we have Right Worshipful Brother Bob Butler that still attends when he's able to, and Right Worshipful Sir is 92, 93 years old. He's up there. And I told him, as often is the case, just like in our last meeting, I think Bert picked him up.
Yep.
And then about 3/4 of the way, it got a little bit much. He got tired and stuff, and asked Right Worshipful Brother Scott Rickman if he could exit the laws, and
Take
he
him
just
home.
again didn't interrupt ritual,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the appropriate time, he said, "Worshipful Sir, Right Worshipful Brother Bob Butler is a little bit spent. I was wondering if I could excuse myself and take him home." And so I told Brother William, if you can't make it through a whole meeting and you need to leave sooner, like, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, of
We'll
course,
help you
of
get there.
course.
Like, again, that's what it's all about, right?
I know
But
no person in my
fantastic.
lodge would be hesitant to do something
No,
like that.
not at all.
You
And
know.
that's just a little piece of, helping each other out, a little aspect of how we do that. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much more that we offer to each other and such. So
Yeah,
Totally.
you raised a really interesting point there, Steve, in regards to picking up some of the older brethren and the drive out and the drive back. So I've picked up Right Worshipful Brother Bob Butler several times, and it's one of the things I really enjoy. He lives near my house, so it's not a long drive, but I really enjoy the opportunity to connect with him personally because he has some stories.
Totally, yeah.
I mean, the guy was Right Worshipful Sir up in Northern Ontario as well, and as well known in the Sudbury district and all that area, as well as down here in the south. And every time I spend time with him, he's got a nugget.
Yeah, you learn
some
something.
nugget,
Yeah, of
some
course.
nugget, and it's like, and he's sharp. He observes things. He's making comments on the ritual work and the things that could be better and the things that were done well. And I mean, how valuable is that time?
Yeah.
It's just us time.
Well,
just
in
painting
masonry in
together.
general, I mean, I think we value our elderly members so much.
Oh, yeah.
And it's they do have so much knowledge and
Yeah.
so much to learn. And
Well, I think
from-
for Right Worshipful Brother Bob Butler also, it's a special time because one of his own people he sponsored is also sitting up in the East. And I remember when he came
Mark, yeah.
in the January meeting, it was nice to see Bob there. And he said, I wouldn't miss this meeting if my life depended on it, because this is the first meeting Mark is sitting up there in the East. And that was nice. And what's cool is, although a bit intimidating, I have to say, they sit on the junior warden side. So I have Bob Butler right to my right, and then Scott Rickman right in front of Bob. So, I mean, I get lots of corrections,
Lots
which
of
is great,
nudges.
But you know what? I welcome it. It's all stuff that, again, I'll just absorb and take it forward and pass to the next guy. But it's fantastic.
yeah.
And to talk about our membership in our lodge, I think we're down now because we've just lost a couple brothers this last week. It was a tough week for us.
Yeah.
I think we're back down to just under 50 members, like 48. And on Thursday, I counted 21 Rising Sun members.
Oh, that's great.
We didn't have any. Well, we had a couple guests come from dinner for dinner, but we didn't have any visitors that particular night. And I thought, we are so close to 50% of our membership
Showing up.
showing up. And I think it's, again, the culture we've created and just always doing a lot stuff together
Yeah.
that has really brought the newer guys that have come up. I mean, again, I called, I don't know if I'd shared this with you, but our 4 EAs that have been preparing and working together through our mentor program with their sponsors took the time on their own
Yeah.
to get together by
Attend the
themselves
And study.
and continue their studies,
Yeah.
just to help, I guess, get them in, and not that they had expect to be perfect, but just to perfect their work. And I got a call. I was meeting with them on, I think, a week ago, Wednesday, in the evening, just to go over some final steps with them. And they called me Tuesday and said, you think, like, we can't find a place to study ourselves, and the 4 of us want to do it, and can I borrow the key? And I said, yeah, of course. And I immediately called and told on them, but in a proud manner, like, you gotta, like, this just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome.
Like, these guys are eager, they're there.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about being together, helping each other.
And that's what really builds the bond in a lodge. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, you sit in a lodge an hour, 2 hours a month, but a lot and which is really important, the work that's being done in there and all that. But you don't really get to know the person beside you on a personal level, sitting in a quiet lodge, watching work being done. You have to be outside the lodge and converse in those ways, have meals with them. And, you guys are really good at doing Christmas events where you rented the skating rink and you guys went and did that. And, to build those bonds outside the lodge,
Yeah,
that's what
they're
keeps
special.
people
That's-
coming back for lodge, for the meetings, right?
That's the added layer to Masonry, I think, that we offer, that now includes our families, our friends, not just Masons, not just the guys. And when we get to do those things together, and our others, our significant others, our kids see, the tightness that we have, again, it really is just showing them the extension of family, and that even if we're long gone, they're still going to be well cared for and overseen and looked after, and so it's really nice. Really
Yeah,
nice.
if you walk into a lodge and your brother's children are there and they're calling everyone in the lodge uncle, something's
Yeah,
gone. You're doing
exactly.
something right?
And that's awesome. And going back to again losing the couple brothers this past week, I'll share with you what happened out of that. So we lost Brother Michael Anderson. He was our chaplain in this lodge. Fantastic
Great
Mason.
guy.
All Masons
Yeah.
are pretty awesome, but I really got a chance to get to know Mike very well over the last couple of years, helping him out. Again, a senior member, often needing to go to doctor's appointments, jumping in as best we could to offer assistance, having a lot of one-on-one time with him, just visiting and hanging out. He was blind, and in his later part, he had both legs amputated. Talk about a guy that's gone through a lot. And even in
the
his
resilience.
last
Yeah.
few days, he still had his little bit of pep in him, and he very much was going to be missed 100%. We also lost Frederick Browning as well, who we had the wonderful opportunity last year to go up there to give him his 60-year pin, which
Yeah.
was awesome. Very happy to have been a part of that and see that. But going back to Mike Anderson, we did a memorial service at the request of the family. And out of that, and we didn't do it for any of that reason, but out of that, two guests inquired about Masonry. One joined us for dinner to see what it was about.
Oh, wow.
And another fellow was just apparently walking by. It was very much in trying to inquire about it. Saw our doors open. We welcomed him in. He joined us for dinner also. But that's not what the service is for, to certainly get people in. But when you do it right and it has that lasting impact, they see from that public side, it's like, this is something special here.
And it shows that we care, right? We're
Absolutely.
all there, and we're all
Absolutely.
in regalia, and we're there in numbers, showing our support to the family, and that's what we're really there for, the family
Yeah, I think we ended up having 21 or 22 Masons attend that one, which is impactful for the family to see.
Of course.
And the work was done well.
Yeah.
It was well organized.
And that's important, yeah.
Very important. And it has an impact because it becomes very personal. And I think that service is extremely well written. Of course it is.
Yeah.
And we also went out to Trenton and for Brother Frederick Browning's memorial service. And this was on a Tuesday at 2:00. So a very short notice.
And called on at the last hour. Sunday night late, we got the call.
Yeah. And we're going to have a guest on shortly here, Right Worshipful Brother Bill Thompson, who is the Worshipful Master in Quinty Lodge number 69 in Frankfurt, and reached out to him. He immediately reached out to the brethren in that area, and they had 10 guys show up for that memorial service. So, we had an impact on not knowing any of these guys either. And they were very proud to participate and be part of it. So, it was a little bit sad this past week losing a couple of guys, but that is how it goes.
I think, again, when we experience those losses, believe it or not, it strengthens our connections and builds our bonds even tighter. And so, again, it really is unfortunate to have those experiences, but it is part of life,
It's part of the reflection.
It's part of the reflection.
Yeah.
And again, for Brother Frederick there, just amazing that at the last hour, another lodge who may not have even met this fella, just the fact that he's a brother,
Stepped up.
again, stepped up, were there. And again, it was real nice. And I'm sure, I know, again, when we went and did his 60-year pin presentation, I could see the impact it left on his family and on him personally and his wife. And so I could just imagine how, as much as they're going through such an emotional roller coaster at that particular time, how much that meant for that 15, 20-minute ceremony. For
Well,
him.
his son approached me afterwards to join Masonry.
There you go,
After
right.
that experience. And thankfully, Right Worshipful Brother Bill Thompson was there too, because he offered to take him to Kingston, because he lives in Kingston, and tour some of the lodges, so you get a sense of it. So they're just Masonic.
That's two services with people seeing that impact, how much it meant. And again, Brother Frederick was very much involved.
He was proud.
sharing. Yeah,
He was proud. You talked to his daughter and his wife at that service, and us coming out there last year really had a big impact on them.
You could see that 100%.
He was very proud to have been a Mason and share that with folks. So it's it's a little bit of a challenging time, but we move forward, and it's been great to reconnect with you guys. This is certainly a lot of fun
I'm
to
so
get
happy to be
back in the
back.
studio here.
2 weeks has felt like
Yeah,
6 months.
I know. Well, I think, like I said, we got quite a bit lined up in the near future.
We got a lot coming down the pipe. Let's talk about that for a minute. We've got a ton of interviews coming up. We've got Right Worshipful Brother Bill Thompson, who's a past Grand Senior Warden from Grand Lodge, and many other things. He'll be joining us. We have Right Worshipful Brother Leonard Felt, who is going to share his Masonic experience and talk about the Observant
I'm looking
Lodge
forward to that
out
one
in
as well.
Stratford, which is a really kind of cool topic that we'll be covering. I've had good fortune of connecting with Most Worshipful Brother Ronnie Groshaw, who has agreed to come on the show. So we got to get a time that works for him. So I'm sure he's got a few thousand stories he could share with us. And then Brother Sprott, you've been very busy working some channels. Tell us about some of the upcoming episodes.
Well, we got some new gear here in the studio. You know, we've been wanting to make some external phone calls and record some phone calls with, some interviews with some people. So, why not reach out to some more notable, more high profile people? So one of the people we recently reached out to was Brother Johnny Royal, which is the producer of 2 really great documentaries. First one is the Masonic documentary called 33 and Beyond, The Royal Art of Freemasonry, which is a really great movie. It goes through each degree and kind of what it means, what it stands for. Me being a new Mason, just getting my 3rd degree, I haven't really sat down and asked anybody too much about what the Scottish Rite really is, what the York Rite really is, what you learn in these things. So to be able to sit down and watch this movie and kind of learn exactly what they are all about, really great, really informative. Also, he produced and wrote and directed Illuminated, which is the true story of the Illuminati. I know Masonry gets mixed up a lot in pop culture with the Illuminati, and this kind of just sets the record straight, what the Illuminati really was, if it still is relevant, if they're still active today, and kind of separates Masonry from, but also connects in some ways too, and shows that it wasn't a sinister organization, and where the mix-up and disconnect was and all that. So 2 really great movies. Really excited to have him on. We have a interview scheduled with him in the next couple weeks. So
that'd be a great topic.
Awesome.
We also have Worshipful Brother Michael Chavallo, and he is I believe he's still the master of Daylight Lodge in Las Vegas, Nevada. He is also very well known in the MMA world and UFC. He is an announcer with the UFC. He's written several books, and one of them is called Know Thyself, which I've referenced on the show before because I read the book.
Yep.
I got it from Grand Lodge, and it's doing the rounds now with us here because Brother Sprott has been able to secure him for an interview with us and to talk about his book and some of the work that he does. It should be a really great topic to sit down with him.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I'll add, so we got some great interviews coming up, but also add that I saw the coffee mugs arrive today.
We got some new swag again.
Yeah, new swag at the first 3 knocks.
We'll have to take a picture. Hold on, I'm going to take a picture for Instagram here.
Of course, Gino's wearing his First 3 Knocks t-shirt, and now the First 3 Knocks mug is available. So you can find that on our website and reach out to us at the First 3 Knocks.
I believe we have some pins coming too.
Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit
we
about
got
that?
some swag coming.
Yeah, we have a new sponsor for the show. Obviously, it takes some money to run this program here, so we have a new sponsor called the Traveling Ambassador. Lot going around on social media about them. Great company. They're a pin manufacturer, and they also have the 357 Club, which is a pin club. And they were kind enough to offer us some pins, some F3K pins, First 3 Knocks pins. So we're looking forward to that. Production time is about 4 weeks, but we'll have those hopefully available shortly soon.
Well, there you have it. We got a lot on the go, and it's exciting to be back in the studio again. So with that, we'll wrap it up for
one
this
other thing I wanted to mention too. You can subscribe to our email list now. If you go to our Facebook or website, you can subscribe to our emails. We have a news bulletin that's going to be coming out with a lot of updates, a little recap of what we've been doing, as well as upcoming shows as well. So if you're interested, sign up for our e-blast as well, or our news bulletins.
And we got that on Instagram and all the other social media platforms.
Yep,
right?
yep,
Spitting it all out there. Awesome. That's great. Well, guys, like I said, it's great to be back.
Good to be back.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The First Three Knocks. Happy to meet, sorry to part, happy to meet again.